You can never be free in this life. There's no such thing as pure freedom. Your culture, your country, your ethics, your religion, whatever guides you, there is no such thing as complete freedom. Anyone that tells you I'm free to do it is actually lying to themselves and to others. My kids, I think my oldest remembers mostly, we went in Civil War, we were there for a long time and he started recognizing, oh, is it bullets or is it a grenade? Or he would tell me, oh, Mum, it's this.
Wow.
Oh, no idea what it is. One night, especially in Tripoli, the entire place didn't sleep from the bombings and the grenades that fell on the city. I remember it was like 5 a.m. and everyone was awake. The sound was just insane. I'm not going to say I'm a very relaxed parent. I don't like the idea that we're friends when they're little because there's no more parenting these days. I just see kids walking over their parents and I'm no walkover. We have the respect. I'm the mother, you're the child. I keep telling people, please do not believe on what people share on social media that their life is all rosy-posy. That is not true. It puts a toll on you. You're away a lot. Sometimes I'm up at 2, at 3, at 4, sometimes multiple times. It's not easy, but if you really believe in what you're doing, nothing can stop you.
Welcome to the Out of Interest podcast, everybody. Muzza, we're excited for this one. Why are we excited, Muzza? You're clueless.
I have no idea.
We have a female, right, as a guest.
It's quite rare.
I know it's a very rare thing. We
quite
always
rare.
complain about. Why is it so hard to get females on?
Muslim women in particular.
Muslim women in particular. What is she? You're our fourth Muslim. She's our fourth Muslim woman. Fourth, fifth.
It's unique.
Yeah, it's like the
Unique.
most rarest thing.
Yeah.
Mariam and Huli, right?
Al Huli.
Welcome to the Out of Interest
Thank you
podcast.
for
How are
having
you?
me. Alhamdulillah, I feel very special now.
You're so early
You are.
today.
I'm
Was
always
that
early.
10 a.m.? She's here at 9:30 or something.
You got us
Way
up out of bed,
before.
man.
I'm in a meeting and Muzza comes. He's like, she's here. I'm like, what do you mean she's here? Like, calm down, everybody.
My motto is if you're not early, you're late. So I'm happy to wait for people. I just don't like people waiting for me.
Good way to live.
Yeah, I was the last
great.
one here to sit down, so I feel terrible now. But look, you're Lebanese,
Yes.
right? I'm gonna get straight into it, right? I'm not even gonna do a quick intro because I feel like I gotta cover this part first. You're Lebanese,
Yep.
and I grew up with a lot of Lebanese people. Mother, you grew up with a lot of
Absolutely.
Lebanese people. You guys are everywhere, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is there's a lot happening in Lebanon right now. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because your story, you came from Lebanon, right? I've watched one of your pods and you spoke about coming to Australia from Lebanon.
No, I'm Australian born.
You're Australian born, but what was
Yeah,
that?
raised.
There was a suitcase. Yeah.
I got caught up in wars in Lebanon by chance.
There you go. All right,
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. That's clarified right there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now there's would we say it's a war happening in Lebanon right now?
Well, it looks like it.
Yeah.
It's kicking
Would you
off.
say it's a war?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're just like
Teasing.
teasing? How would you describe that?
It very much looks like a impending war is about to explode. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they're just playing cat and mouse. Because if another version of 2006 happened, I think we're going to see a lot of detrimental fatalities, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's. I feel like Lebanon and that area cannot catch a break. I mean, what's happening in Palestine and whatnot is very unfortunate. Now it's like the neighboring countries are starting to see that side of it. Do you have any family that's been affected in Lebanon right now?
Not immediate. My sister's in-laws live very close to where the targeted bombings are happening.
Yeah.
And I can only, I've been getting photos and videos. It's very terrifying. Like, I think no words can explain, if you haven't lived it yourself, what it feels like to be on edge, not knowing what's going to happen.
And you've lived it.
Oh, yeah, 3 times. If not
3
more,
times?
probably, yeah.
Uh,
2 civil and 1 Israel-Lebanon war.
And each time that happened, you were there.
Yeah.
Do you go there purposely
No.
for it? Do you
Just bad timing.
They just
Just
wait
bad
for me.
timing?
They wait for me. They go, oh, we know you love this stuff.
Yeah.
Just wait for you and just get caught up in a couple of months worth of it. 2006, when I was only 17,
Yeah.
when the 2006 Israel-Lebanon war happened. And I've said this before, we were evacuated to Cyprus via boats with the help of the Australian government, like many other Aussies. But the other ones, I can't remember the dates now, 2013, 14, I was on a long version holiday, and then the civil wars broke out, and those are much worse.
The civil wars are worse.
Oh yeah.
How
oh,
so?
Yeah. Because they're different sects, and the funny, it's not funny, but the sad funny thing is, so when the Jabal and Tabini, the parts of Tripoli, they're actually married from to each other. There's only one street apart, not
Right.
even a street. It's like a little laneway. One's on the left, one's on the right. You go into weeks of killing each other, and then when the politician says it's over, they just sweep up the street and business is normal, and that's just absolutely insane.
Do you feel that civil wars are antagonized by external influences, or is it
100%.
genuinely internal?
Oh no.
Yeah?
It's the politicians outright straight telling you it's the politicians, not the people. The people are gullible and they're lured by money or status or whatever it is that they're going to give them, but it's not the people. No, at all. They fall
Because
victims to it.
like the thing is, personally, I don't really follow Lebanese politics. I don't even follow like Turkish politics, and I'm Turkish. But I feel like in that area, there's always like political problems, one way or another. It's like there's always two sides to a story. People say, it's a puppet up there. People say it's not a puppet up there. Like, honestly, I have no idea what's going on. But there's always killings. The unfortunate thing is, people die all the time in
Civilians
that
are
area.
the
Civilians.
they always
Well,
say.
Lebanon's
always
a
in the
very
crossfire.
unique landscape. It's a very strategic landscape as well. You have to understand that they've purposely divided everyone. So it's around 40 or 50% Christian, Muslim, but then even within that, there's different sects. So you
Yeah.
have the prime minister, one religion, the president, one religion. Like, it's just, I've never seen someone hide based on the religion or what sect they are rather than on merit, only in that country. So that's how they sort of gang up people on each other. And make sure, the power plays. It's just all politics. It's very sad, but it's all politics. It's not the people at all.
And when you've travelled there, has it just been yourself, or have you gone there with family?
No,
Have
no,
you taken
with
your kids
family,
over there?
with my kids. And
So your kids get roped up in all this as well?
Yeah. My kids, I think my oldest remembers mostly. We went in Civil War, we were there for a long time, and he started recognising, is it bullets or is it a grenade? Or he would tell me,
Jeez.
oh, Mum, it's this.
Wow.
Oh, no idea what it is. One night, especially in Tripoli, the entire place didn't sleep from the bombings and the grenades that fell on the city. I remember it was like 5 a.m. and everyone was awake. The sound was just insane.
Has it become like the norm at this point?
When you're inside of a situation like that, you don't feel any different. You're watching series, you're doing your washing.
While that's all going on.
Well, that's all going around. Like, some streets are safe. You go out to, I'm telling you, to dinner. Business as usual.
Really?
Yeah, yep. Business as usual.
Because I know people from Afghanistan, right, and they've fled the war, and they were saying that too. They're like, a car bomb will go off, and there'll be body pieces everywhere, and people just walk by. It's like it's normal. It's
You're
just
immune to
part
it.
and parcel of life at that point. And that's like really sad. That's really sad.
As a mum whose kids are obviously in that environment and seeing all that kind of stuff, how do you parent a child through all that? Because that'd be very, very hard. Like that would scar your child for forever if they saw severed limbs and this and
I
that.
didn't see any of that, thank God, because we were in a part of Tripoli where the noise factor was way worse than seeing anything. It's just so normal, and they were very young. The kids. And we were never scared. I was never scared. I think I just got used to. It was like the third war or something. I'm used to it. And I remember one time I was putting out the washing, and there were snipers, because we live next to the souk where the shop, where this bazaar sort of is. And I can hear someone screaming at me, "Get inside, you stupid lady! They're sniping each other." So business as usual. Oh, I'm so sorry. Just close the close the window and close everything. Just go inside. It's just, I'm telling you, you'd only think about this stuff when you're back and maybe years later. But when you're inside of what's happening, because everyone is surrounded, and that's the morning coffee talk and the afternoon talk, and it's just normal. It's just very, very normal.
Do you see this ever finishing? It's like a never-ending story in the Middle East.
No, they can't. They won't allow it to finish.
Yeah, there's like one bully there just bullying the shit out of every other country.
It's not one. It's a lot of under the table, behind the works, people at play, and divide and conquer. Can you imagine if the Middle East was left to prosper? Where would it be? They won't allow that.
It's a fair point, because we travel to the Middle East quite a bit, and you look at the countries that have some degree of stability, they're thriving.
Absolutely.
And they cover so much ground so quickly. Like they can develop themselves from being, desert dwelling Bedouins to, sky high, huge things set up in the span of a couple of years.
Absolutely.
It's quite
In the
phenomenal.
70s, Lebanon was the Swiss of the Middle East. It was just absolutely gorgeous. If you look at old photos, where it was, and they can't have that, all the region prospering. Like 2-3 countries is enough for them. They don't want the entire Middle East to rise.
Yeah, but you have a great story. I was doing a lot of research on you, and the reason why I wanted to start off from that, like it's extremely dramatic, was it just shows like how strong you are as a person. One being obviously you saw the war and you kept going. Another thing is you're a mum of 5. Another thing is you're a Muslim, hijabi, which makes it usually the stigma is female Muslim, stay at home, blah blah blah. That's the stigma that goes around, unfortunately. But you're a mum of 5.
Yeah,
as you mentioned, you got married when you were 16, I believe.
15. Had my son at 16.
15.
Yeah, the son at
16. I'm
16.
35. Yep.
Wow.
Talk us through the whole marriage thing. You're 15 years old. Did you? Was it?
No,
It's
it
a
was
silly question, but
arranged.
no. So
I
you
think-
wanted this.
I think if you've met me for a few minutes, you know I don't have a personality. No one can force me to do anything.
You call the shots.
Always. Look, I've, again, I don't want to repeat the same thing. So people have seen me other podcasts said, but in a nutshell, it was a form of escapism. I've met my husband overseas a year before when we were on a family trip. I decided my way out was, or what I thought my way out was, that's it, I'm getting married, I'm off. See you later, family. I don't want to visit you again. It's 15, you think you rule the world, you understand everything. Went overseas, got married because obviously it wasn't legal here. Had the whole war thing, came back to Australia, had to get married legally through a court system because I was underage still, I was only 17. And then the real life began because you think you're escaping from one thing, and having children, getting married is no walk in the park. It's another form of bigger responsibility. But as I said, when you're 15 and you're very rebellious and you think, and you've got a tiny bit of brains, I thought I had a lot then, you think that your decisions are, the best decision in the world. So, but that's how really.
You don't regret it, I'm assuming.
Look, I don't regret it, but in hindsight, I wish I had seen, and I wish I had studied, lived the normal progression of life, lived my teenage years, went and studied, went overseas, built a career, and then had kids. I wish that way would have been just more, I think, easier, because you miss stages of your life. And this is why I was just telling Wade, I'm playing catch up now. I'm just living life the opposite, and it's very weird to a lot of people. Because I'm 35 and I'm absolutely crazy. But then people don't understand that I've missed a whole chunk of my teen and my 20s. And I want to relive that and I want to catch up.
You mentioned that escapism, you were escaping. What were you escaping from? At 15, what are you running from?
Look, family rules. I've said this before as well. My father had a severe mental health illness. We were a huge family of 10. Being the oldest, there was always rules and regulation. You have to be raised textbook. Parents wanted everything to be textbook, and I just wanted to live on my own terms.
Are you living on your own terms now?
Well, I think so.
You reckon?
I reckon. Look, you can never be free in this life. There's no such thing as pure freedom. Your culture, your country, your ethics, your religion, whatever guides you. There is no such thing as complete freedom. Anyone that tells you, I'm free to do it, is actually lying to themselves and to others. There is no such thing. But in what I want to do, yes. I don't think there's anything that I want to do that I haven't done or I'm going to do. So in context, yes, I am doing what I want.
So when you got married, did you have the blessing of your family? I'm just trying to...
Oh, no. Look, my
everything
mum,
was okay?
My dad told me, Allah yarhamu, he passed away, he told me, look, don't come back in 10, 20 years and tell me this is a forced thing. You're very smart, you're very intelligent, and if that's what you want to do, then, go for it. My mum was a bit much against it, but then she sort of agreed, because I was a very intelligent student. I was an A+ student. They had hoped I'd get into medicine or something along those lines, and she didn't see why a 15-year-old would make that decision. But look, it's all nasib, and everything happens for a reason. Maybe I wouldn't be here now if I haven't lived through all those experiences.
So tell me, you saw a version of parenting that produced a child who wanted to escape from home and do all that, and then you become a young mum yourself, and now you have teenage kids. How has your experience sort of formed the style of parenting that you apply to your own children, so that they're not escaping from home at 15 and trying to get married?
Well, I've got a 19-year-old, alhamdulillah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Look, very different, as in the sense that when my older boys especially were at school, they both left school, and I said to them, as long as you're well-mannered, this is from their prep. I don't care if you get grades. I don't care if you failed. As long as you've tried hard and that's your best and you're well-mannered, and I never get a phone call about behaviour, I don't care what you do. So that's been my approach. And so when my oldest said at 15, the school's not for me, I want to do a trade or I want to do something else, I said, go for it. And the second one's now home as an apprentice plumber, and he said, Mum, school's not for me. And I said, absolutely, why not? There's a lot of other ways. That's probably one of the biggest difference. And I'm not going to say I'm a very relaxed parent. I don't like the idea that we're friends when they're little, because there's no more parenting these days. I just see kids walking over their parents, and I'm no walkover. So we have the respect. I'm the mother, you're the child. As they get older, yes, obviously you've got an adult son to an extent even then. But even now at 19, if he answers back to me, he knows I won't let it off. There's no disrespecting or, this new trend of trauma. I always tell him, you probably have a lot of trauma. I'll pay for the psychologist. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm sure I've inflicted.
So how would you, what would you do if they talk back? Backhander or?
Oh, he'd get a slap on the face.
You get a slap
Minimum.
on the face.
No, this new parenting thing is not for me. The what do you call it? Terlik in Turkish. In the pebuj or whatever, the slipper. That's minimum.
That's
One
minimum.
of the swim will come out. I don't care if he's 105. And he used to tell me, I'm turning 8 when he was 18. The law says, I said, that's your law. My law is if I'm your mum and I'm alive, my law will always prevail. And you know what's funny? It's my mum does the same thing to me. So it's even at 35, I still get phone calls. I still get told off. But that's how it is in our community and culture. Our parents are always... We don't have to agree with them, but we have to respect them.
No, I completely agree with where you're coming from. However, are you not worried in this current day and age? Because I feel like if you hit your child, like they could take your child away from you in Australia
They're
right now.
going to take a 19-year-old from me. They'll bring him back next day. They can bring him back next day. I'm not a smacking person. I don't like... I don't think I've ever smacked really my girls. I think Layla, the youngest, got an ear pulled the other day. But I don't like smacking children. But he's an adult and I don't care. They can take him away. Wallahi, they'll bring him back the next day. I won't put up with him. And he's nagging. They'll say, here. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is I don't tolerate disrespecting me or his father even, and make sure that the kids respect each other. That's really, really important. Because, teens these days think they rule the world. And he can't rule. He doesn't even know how to put, a jacket and pants together, so...
Seems like you have some beef with him.
He's a beautiful kid, alhamdulillah. The kids are very... Most thing that I always tell him and I always get that they're very well-mannered, and that's the most important thing. And I told him, last year I went to film school, and we'll talk a bit more about that, and he used to go with me forcefully as a chaperone because I get scared of the trains at night, and he used to wait outside for hours on end. And everyone used to tell me, how do you get a teenager to wait outside for you? I said, because there's no choice. I'm his mum. He has to wait with me. And one day, as we're walking down Flinders Street, like at 10 p.m, he goes to me, Mum, look at these little kids on scooters. It's nearly midnight. And I said, Mum, see, the raising of children starts when they're little, not when they're this big. So I've raised you now, and don't ever make people say what you've just said. Why is this kid wild, or why, it comes back to me. So I think, inshallah, they know right from wrong. And at that age, you can only make dua and pray for them that you've done the best that you could, and they're not going to be misguided or, taken away by friends. But, yeah, definitely raising your kids is done when they're little, not when they're taller than you, and you just have to look up to see them.
Yeah. You know what's fascinating? You had, so this son of yours that you're speaking about now.
What's his name? Let's put
Yusuf.
a name on him.
Yusuf. Okay. So you had Yusuf when you were, 16 years old?
Yeah.
So, and you're saying that you have to do the tarbiyah, the upbringing of your children from a young age. So you're a 16-year-old yourself. You're practically a kid yourself as well. So how does a kid go about knowing how to bring up another kid?
See, I wasn't a normal 16-year-old. I had lived a lot of things at home with my father's illness, with being a big family, being the oldest, being the family translator. And obviously, I was at my mum's house every single day. So it was a community sort of effort. But I always knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. And even before, as I said, this new parenting style was a trend. I always had made sure my kids had bedtimes. And maybe I did a lot of mistakes probably in the tarbiyah side of things. I didn't really enforce deen a lot, which a lot of people do, which is great. I think I did my best, and I think it turned out okay. Like, alhamdulillah, I'm happy with how they've turned out. They don't go anywhere. They don't drink. They don't have, as we were just saying before off air, our friends, my kids' friends are my brother-in-laws. They don't really have external friends. And that's the most important thing I realized early on is your children's future is influenced by friends and the outer community.
Yeah,
and if you can control that, you're basically 90% there.
Do you enjoy being a parent to a boy or a girl more?
Maybe to the girls more.
Mhm.
The boys, although they're very mellow and very good and that, I don't think, and very close in age gap, I don't think we have that much of a connection then with the girls. The girls are always with me and more in common. I always say, Allah gave us 5, but I wish I had 5 girls. It's just much easier.
Seems like this Yusuf's copying it, man. This guy, I feel for
Oh
him.
no, he's beautiful.
feel for him.
I like Yusuf. He goes to my brother-in-law's. He's fishing that, and I can't sleep. Like it's 2. Where are you? Like this phone call. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Till he's home. Because we live on a farm. Till I see the lights coming, and I'm just like, all right, he's here. I'm going to sleep.
You live on a farm.
Yeah, I live on a farm. So that's the only difference. Girls are really with you. My daughter's not going anywhere at midnight. She's with me at home. But you know, I can't say no to everything. Like he's fishing or he's going out with my brother-in-laws or they're barbecue or they're camping. I always tell him, as long as you call me and he does that, wherever you're going, I don't care if it's 500 phone calls a day. I need to know where you are and what time you're back. I don't mind.
You should download the Live 360 app.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Live 360
No.
app? Get him to download it. You should stalk exactly in real time where he is, how fast he's traveling,
Oh no,
where he stopped.
that's too extreme.
What do you mean?
That's
You don't have to keep calling the guy.
Because we're on a farm, I worry about him because on the farm, the roads are very dark and there's a lot of kangaroos. So just in case he hits anything. So I always tell him, just make sure that you when you say you're coming, you're coming. I don't need to be calling you. Now, that's the only really issue with him.
So you wouldn't have to call him if you have the app. You'll know he's just coming to the farm. You'll know when he's
Track
coming.
him.
Just keep tracking the guy.
Might
You
see
know,
that.
so you mentioned that you're the eldest of your siblings,
Yes.
right? And Yusuf, poor man, is the eldest of his siblings.
Yes.
Do you sort of connect over the fact that you understand what it takes to be the eldest kid? Because I'm the eldest kid in my family. I'm like, depending on where you are in the order, you get a different treatment from your parents.
Absolutely.
Usually,
Yes.
right? So the eldest cops it. Always. You're the eldest, I'm the eldest, Yusuf's the eldest. We all know that.
Everyone's copped it.
Anyone who's after the eldest does not know what the eldest kid is copying.
Yeah.
Like he's not the eldest. He's the second.
I still copped it.
But
A lot.
No, a
Till this
second,
day.
But she'll tell you this: a second born does not know what the firstborn's copped.
If there's a third world country, third world war, it's your fault.
anything goes wrong, it's the first kid.
That's absolutely. Look, we were raised completely different.
Yeah.
My son's overprivileged. I was telling him cotton wool, although, you know, I'd done the best parenting, but he was surrounded by aunties, by his grandmother. We didn't have anyone growing up. My dad only had one sister here, which we'd visit my auntie once a week. My mum had no family when we were very young, and she wasn't a people's person. She, you know, she was from a different village in Lebanon or different place, and we stayed to ourselves. So Yosef grew up pampered. First grandchild, his aunties and uncle are a few years older than him, so he got whatever he wanted. You know, if he didn't like the food at home, he'd call my mum, Tata, can you make this for me? Can you get this for me? Whatever he wanted, they did for him.
Yeah.
So he was a very spoiled child growing up, as all the kids were. So we can't compare in what I went through to what he went through. There's no comparison. But yes, the oldest always cops, and he still probably does if he's. He took his, look, yesterday, he goes to me, do you want to go to the zoo? And I said, man, I'm jet lagged, I'm dead, I've been in a conference. He goes, okay, stay home. So he took his brother and sisters, and they had a whole family, all of them, 5 of them, day out. So
That's nice.
that's the nice thing of having a child that's now an adult. You know, he drives, he takes them out, they went for lunch and they came back home. So that's just something off my back I would have had to do if I...
Did you keep calling him?
I didn't call him at all.
You didn't call him at all?
Not one, it's in the morning. They were home by 5. Not one phone call.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a lovely day.
What an amazing day. What did you do while they were
I
gone?
slept and sat and read and did everything and didn't do anything at the same time. He took them all and they had a beautiful day. So that's one of the perks of having an adult, alhamdulillah, child that can drive, that, you know, and they all got along. Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Talking about all these kids, 5 kids, but you look so young. I don't know if I'm tripping, but you look extremely
always
young.
get it.
You
Thank you.
must be like your skincare or something.
Must be.
Must be really good skincare.
Yeah, I always do get that I'm younger than my age, which is good
It's
for a lady.
crazy.
It's amazing. I probably will age
It's so
well.
trippy. Because as soon as I walked in, I'm like, who's this child? Like, who are we interviewing right now?
Especially
Why is she so young?
somebody who's been through war zones and all of that. You'd think they'd be
Unbelievable.
stressed.
Yeah, and considering like you're doing quite a bit as a, Muslim hijabi, you're doing quite a bit. You got your own business. You wrote a book. God knows what else you're doing. We'll uncover it. But tell me about your skincare. Now, I want to start by saying, again, I brought it up before about there's a lot of stigma about Muslim women, they don't have that business mindset, or they don't really delve into the business. Maybe they have the mindset, but they don't really do it. It's either the husband wouldn't allow it, or their roles are just that, blah, blah. How did that come about for you? Was your husband supportive? Was your family supportive? Did you fight for it?
No, I've always been in some failed business since I was 18.
Right.
Remember, after that war and coming back, I didn't want to live the life my mother had. This is staying home and having kids and a dozen kids and the cycle happening again was not for me. I already knew that. But I had failed in so many businesses that, another venture is just another venture. By that skincare, my husband was out. Everyone was out. I was in $300,000 debt. I had, this was just before COVID. I was scammed. I didn't know how to operate. I had an evening boutique wear in Sydney Road, Brunswick, which was doing well until things, when things go bad in business, it's a downward spiral. They went bad. So when the skincare business, it came out of, I always say it was God's idea. I have very sensitive skin. And months prior, I was just looking for something for me. And I stumbled across, skincare. And I'm not a very makeup or even skincare person, to be completely honest. But when one venture had closed, and I always need to be making some sort of money. Inshallah, 5 kids. As this generation is, there's a lot of, can you get me? I want. It's not a need, I want.
Yeah.
So I always need to have my own money. That's how I've been since I was very young. So when I found the opportunity and started it, and I thought to myself, this venture can be for friends and family. I never knew what e-com was. I never anticipated it in going big or going anywhere really. But step by step, I learned and immersed myself into e-commerce and it just went from there. And as for the section about scarved women, I don't know why we have this. There are a lot of, if you look now, maybe more in the Middle East, a lot of CEOs, a lot of scarved women in big positions, managing multi-billion-dollar companies. I don't know why in Australia there's not much. Now there's, last couple of years, a lot more, maybe through social media. But yes, the stigma has always been very big. And it's very hard. Even now on my last trip overseas, I always get people looking at me like, as if my scarf or my hijab, it limits my brain capacity or competence. But once I've now started telling people I have 5 kids at the start, because then that's the whole topic, and then the shock, and I can see them doing the maths in their head and the 2-minute break. So that's the last thing I say now. But yeah. But, life is and it teaches you not to be judgmental, at least. I have no ounce of judgment in me because I've seen so many colours in this world, and everyone lives life differently, and there's no right or no wrong.
And your husband was supportive in all this?
Not really.
Not really?
No. To be honest, no.
In what way?
Well, he had a point at the start. You're in $300,000 debt. What new business venture are you going to go into? And skincare. I have a literature background. Like, it's nothing to do with it. And then, as it picked up, as anything in life, when you become a little bit more successful, everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon. I don't care if it's my mum, my husband, my kids, any person. That's the normal line in life. With my other ventures, not really, because there's a lot of attention. There's I get a lot of media. There's a lot of, but these are my boundaries. My work is my life. I love it so much. I want to build a career. Is it easy? No. Does it put a strain on you? Absolutely. I keep telling people, please do not believe what people share on social media, that their life is all rosy-posy. That is not true. No. And you guys are in business and you've got spouses. It puts a toll on you. You're away a lot. And you're men. Imagine I'm a female version of that. You work late. You've got meetings all times of the night and day, especially if you do podcasts or interview or Zooms. Sometimes I'm up at 2, at 3, at 4, sometimes multiple times. It's not easy. But if you really believe in what you're doing, nothing can stop you.
And at no point did you decide that, look, you know what, okay, maybe this whole business thing isn't for me. I'll just work for somebody else. I have a literature background. I could get a job somewhere. I could become a teacher or something like that. Did that not cross your mind? Or
I've
was
worked many jobs. I used to teach the Children's Diploma of Services. I used to teach first aid. I used to do a lot of things on the side of the business. But business for me is just, I can't work for someone from 9 to 5 and be grounded in one role. I will get really bored, and it's just not for me. Even if I'm going to make more money, even if it's more stable, because with entrepreneurship or even business, no 2 days are the same, no 2 months are the same. You might make a whole month make nothing. That's the way of it. But the excitement and the meeting of people and the traveling and your perception in life changes. I'd always say I'd rather have a zero bank account and have traveled the world and met millions of people than have a few $1 million to my name sitting at home. That's just me. It may not work for everyone else, but that's how I prefer it.
When you travel, do you travel alone?
The last couple of times, yes. Before, I've taken my sister mostly. She used to come. My kids have come on some trips, but they don't like it because it's more work. It's not really, leisure. So last 2 trips, I've just come back a couple of days, 2 days ago. I was by myself. The one before, I was by myself.
Did you take Yusuf with you?
He went with me to Qatar at the start of the year, and he was a horrible travel partner.
still cops to the poor guy?
Him and my daughter Richard and my 2 sisters went. So we landed in Qatar. I thought he's going to go, he's going to be with me. He goes to me, give me money. He took a bunch of money. He goes to me, I'll see you soon. And I used to see him on the family group chat. He's doing tourism. Going on these, I don't know how he found them, extraordinary safaris, and he went to Qatar and he saw the eagles, and he went to Turkey and went through, he likes the historic stuff. But that's what he did. And I saw him at the end of the night. So I got him useless to me.
We just came from Qatar, from Doha, a couple of weeks ago.
Beautiful country.
Amazing
very nice,
place.
yes.
Yeah.
And because we travel a lot as well. And one thing that we always talk about is how the West shows only the bad side of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Right? And you go to places like Qatar, UAE, even Bahrain and whatnot. Even Saudi now starting to pick up as well.
Yeah.
And you look at how comfortable they are compared to the Western people. How no crime. At night, women are walking freely. No idiots on the street like these hobo guys running muck, butt naked, pissing on the walls. There's literally none of that. Security everywhere. Everywhere is so peaceful. I mean, again, we don't live there, so we don't know how the politics of it all are. But from the outside, and when you live there for a few days and you see how people are just having a good time, it's unbelievable.
Especially from a woman's perspective, right? Like, these are countries where, because women's rights are enshrined in the religion that they follow within Islam, it's not like a token kind of thing. Like, sometimes you find in Western countries that the rights of women, it's like you have to tick a box. It's like a quota these days for, to be socially responsible or, whatever, culturally aware, you need to appoint a woman to your board. It's a token. It's a symbolic thing. It's not because she's earned that capacity or whatever it is. It's like, okay, well, we have to put one to get shareholder votes. So be it. Whereas in those countries, you look at the central banks over there, you look at so many institutions, Muslim women wearing a hijab, highly competent, very well paid, in positions of influence. And you're like, well, to me, that's really the embodiment of feminism or female rights or empowerment.
Let me tell you a few points. Like, when I was in Qatar at the start of the year, was it last year, I think, I was roaming the streets at 3 in the morning. I love roaming the streets in the middle of the night in countries that are safe, because I went to the mosque there and the imam came and I turned on the lights and sat there, and he like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know if there's a female space. The Fajr was going to adhin, and I turned the light and I was praying. Then he goes like upstairs, like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, it's completely safe. I went to Kuwait last week, and my mum's cousins are there, and I had a look at this country, and I'm like, I don't even know why people come to Australia for. And then our cousin was telling us the perks of being Kuwaiti. The government gives you a land, and when you get married, and then they loan you to build your dream house, and all of it. And I said, can I have a Kuwaiti? Do you want to swap? Do you want to take my Australian passport? Tax-free, by the way.
Yeah.
Saudi, Riyadh, I've just come back from as well. From the airport, there's women in niqabs, officers, custom officers, as you said, well-paid, tax-free, everywhere I saw women, whether they were in film, whether they were in content creation, and it's not something to be celebrated. Like, that's the norm. Like, I didn't see anyone make a big deal out of it. When you're right, we're here. It's like, oh, look, we have diversity, we have inclusion. It's a statement, and it's in Turkey. People say they're not safe. I felt in all countries safe. I'm in Ubers by myself. Obviously, I speak the languages, so I had no language barriers for both countries. Absolutely beautiful. I would not leave my house at 5 p.m. here. I would not dare. Over there, they don't sleep anyway. None of these countries sleep.
Yeah, they don't sleep.
People having kebabs in Riyadh at 3, 4 in the morning and sweets
crazy.
and not one, like normal drive-through.
It's crazy.
And I'm looking at the time, and it's 32 degrees at 3 in the morning. I was sitting there outside, lobby outside, and they've got these little in Riyadh fountains that you have a bath. They spray you with water. It's so hot.
Yeah.
Kuwait is another story. Kuwait, I couldn't sleep because I had a hotel on the beach, and then people at 3 o'clock wake up. Or I don't know, there are so many people on the beaches because it's like 40 degrees or something at 3 in the morning. That's when they go out and eating. It's like here, we're the city of the dead. You don't find a dog or a cat outside after 6. Shopping centres are closed at 9 on Thursdays and Fridays. We don't really live here.
And the funny thing is, while we're there, we ask some of these guys, like, why don't you guys do more by way of promoting your country or whatever? It's like, we're comfortable, man.
Yeah,
we're
I asked that.
They don't want us.
We don't need all this
Yeah,
Dupla of the West coming our way. We live a very
I asked that
comfortable
question
life.
in Kuwait.
Yeah.
I'm like, why isn't this tourism, like this place beats
Yeah.
anywhere? And they said, no, we don't need.
We don't need all that.
Nah, I don't think they need the bogan expats to come to them and ruin their country. They've got a point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a, like, be honest, probably controversial as well, but like all the places that we've traveled to, I'm gonna say like Dubai is probably the worst.
I don't like Dubai.
Only because it's packed with expats. Like, they've really, really ruined Dubai. And you go to the places where there aren't much expats, incredible, peaceful, not loud. Everyone's just respectful, mind their own business. Dubai is hands down the worst city in the Middle East, hands down, out of the developed ones. Right? I haven't been to anywhere else other than few. Yeah. Would you agree, Muzza? Because we complain a lot about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, throughout the GCC in particular, you look at the Gulf countries, right? Yeah, of those, I'd say Dubai is miles behind.
Because Abu Dhabi's better because there isn't much expats there.
Because with Dubai, a lot of it is just fanfare. It's artificially
Plastic.
inflated. It's very superficial, and the good thing about a lot of the Middle Eastern countries is that there's still a lot of character. You can walk to the place and you feel there's a soul to this place. There's a culture, there's tradition, there's something there. Dubai, I think, has separated itself from that. And said, look, you know what? We're going to become this center of the universe. We're just going to make it very, very, concrete. And you can come in, you can transact, you can live a good life, and off you go.
I found that I went 6 years ago, and then I went at the start of the year in Feb, me and my sister, and I said to them, I feel like I've never been to Vegas, but this is Vegas of the Middle East. Looking at pictures and stuff, and I did not like it.
Yeah.
I did not like the indigenous people of that are beautiful people. The actual, Emiratis are beautiful, down to earth. We met some that I was shocked the amount of wealth they have, but they're so humble and mellow. I love them, but as you said, it's just I found that Vegas of the Middle East was there, and that's definitely not for me. I wanted to experience culture, and I loved Riyadh. I was really, really surprised last week in Riyadh. We spent 2 days. You
liked Riyadh?
I loved it.
Okay.
I was on a delegation there for our film, but I loved the food, the culture. It's getting built. I don't know what it will look like in 5 years if they're trying to sort of be the new Dubai, but it's still it's very friendly. People are very helpful, very safe. Again, safety is really big as a woman traveling by yourself. Everyone was helpful. The food's amazing. I just really, really, there is expats, but they're in compounds. So they're not, or they're in high CEO positions. So you see a lot of the locals. Where in Dubai, you barely see a local. It's all the Filipinos, Indians, you get some Arabs, Egyptian, but you don't see the real Emiratis. Whereas in Saudi, the majority are from the country, which is really, really good. Yeah.
What's your favorite in that region? What's your favorite country? Turkey?
Yeah, it's not Middle East, but Turkey for me. I see myself
She speaks
retiring
Turkish?
there. Yeah, I speak
Like
Turkish.
fluent?
98, 90%, 99% probably, I'd say. A few words that sometimes my friends correct, but
What's your
for 2
favorite
years.
Turkish word?
That's a random one.
I don't know. Çok güzel probably.
Çok güzel.
Her şey çok
Muzza,
güzel.
you know, he came from Turkey a couple of weeks ago. So what does çok güzel mean, Muzza?
Very good.
Very good.
No.
Very nice. No, it's very nice.
Very
Yeah,
nice,
Very
really good,
nice.
whatever
Çok
it was.
güzel.
What does it mean? Resident Turk? Same thing.
Depends
Yeah.
on the context.
Yeah, it
If you
depends
use
on where you put it.
Different.
But Turkey for me, because I've been like 17 times or something. I stopped counting after the
Jesus,
15.
alright.
Yeah, I've been so many times. I know the language. I love the people. I love how patriotic they are. You can stir them up in 2 seconds. It's all, you have to know. I hate politics, but you have to talk politics when you're in Turkish, or you can't have a conversation with
Yeah.
anyone. It has to turn one
It's
way.
either
or the
that
other.
or football.
I hate football, so at least I can do politics. I'm a bit red on that. Football, I don't know, but I know they're very patriotic. Yeah, I don't know. I just love it. It's the East and the West mixed together, and you find whatever you're looking for. You want the secular people, you find them. You want the religious people, they're there. You want the fun, it's there. You want the like whatever you want, you can find.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of both worlds. Inshallah, I hope one day to retire there very soon, and live there. I can live
Yeah.
there.
Like we went to London as well. I don't know if you've been
I've
to
been
London.
to London
You've been
in
to
May.
London.
Yeah, I didn't like London.
London, only one part of London was nice, like the rich side.
Yeah.
Everything,
That's where we stayed. I didn't like it.
everything else was because it reminded me of Melbourne, like it reminded me of home, right? Like big time. It just felt like a copy and paste at that point, but with a few more luxury cars.
older
Older
buildings
buildings.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, just remind me of here.
didn't like
but
London.
like, and then what I was thinking, I'm like, these are the countries that get promoted, right? It's seen as like the holy grail of places to visit.
Have you thought why it's promoted?
Tell us.
It's all part of a plan. Again, you know, it's led you to believe that this is where, you know, the modern world is and the epitome of modernization is, and we sidetrack the rest of the countries. I honestly did not like nor the energy, nor London itself. We stayed in Hyde Park. I couldn't compliment. Why am I paying $700 a night for a room that's like 1 meter by 1 meter? And then I figured out, oh, Kensington Palace is there.
Yeah.
And again, I went for the summit that I was there. I didn't like Paris either.
Never been to Paris. Apparently,
Okay.
it smells like piss everywhere.
When I was there, they were cleaning it up for the
Olympics.
Olympics. So I didn't see any of that. I just felt it looked like Lebanon on a cleaner version with the Eiffel Tower in the middle.
All right.
Like I couldn't understand the fascination with the rivers completely dirty. You know, the French. I didn't experience 1 ounce of racism. A lot of and this is another thing that you don't listen to people that have never travelled, you know, outside their backyards. Everyone. I was scared when I was going, and I was telling the ladies with me, like, I'm scarred, man. I've heard so many bad things. I saw more hijabis in Paris than I saw in Melbourne.
Right. Okay.
And I think I was telling you before, I translated for our group in Arabic because all the taxi drivers and everyone's Algerian,
Yeah, Algerian,
Moroccan,
yeah.
and so Arabic was the way for us to go. I didn't get one bad remark, but the Parisians, especially the men, are just snobby. They've got that flair of I'm higher than you, especially like
Say
on the airplane.
Parisian.
Parisian,
Are
yes.
they
From Paris. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parisian.
So they've got that little bit of I'm better than you. Just get over yourself, please. Like, you know, that's how I
We've
felt.
glorified the French like crazy.
The
I
French
didn't like-
accents.
language, their
Yeah,
food,
everything.
Their food shit.
I
Terrible,
I
yeah.
didn't eat any of the
Right?
snails and tadpoles and whatever they
Yeah,
were
like-
having. That's just
We went to France as well a few
Yeah.
months ago, and everyone's talking about the croissant. The croissant was disgusting there. The croissant here was way better, in my opinion. Like I still.
I
like
bought
the
a lot of
more
the
you-
olive oil stuff is really nice, and the soap
But the
and stuff.
baguette, Ali, the baguette.
The
man. Remember those baguettes?
baguette was good though.
Yeah, yeah.
Not gonna lie.
First thing in the morning, there's that.
crunchy,
A lot of their
just-
bakeries
The
and
prices are just insane. We went to the Ritz-Carlton. You can't stay. It's $5,000 a night. You can't even stay there.
Okay.
But we went to have apparently high tea, which is booked out like I don't know for how many weeks
Yeah.
ahead. We had I think a mocktail. Obviously, I don't drink alcohol. A mocktail's like equivalent to 40 Australian dollars. The prices are just insane, insane, and it's packed. Again, it's the marketing and it's the illusion of it. I don't know. I went to the Champs-Elysees, the street. I just looked all designer brand on a huge street. I don't know. To me, I'm more culture, more, you know, I want to go to Spain. I love the Middle East. I love things that have culture and sit with the people. But they do say, to be honest, that the countryside of France is beautiful
Yeah.
and different people. I haven't been, so I'm just basing my knowledge on what I've seen. But yeah, I just think if I was to pay my money to go on a holiday, it won't be to Paris.
Where would it be?
Oh, I'd love Spain. I'd love
What's the ultimate travel spot you want to go to that you haven't
that I haven't been
Yeah.
to. I reckon Spain.
Right.
It's really because there's a lot of Islamic history in there, and I really want to go see that. I'd love to go to Spain. But anywhere, if you tell me to go, I'd go to Turkey. If you take me every day to Turkey, I wouldn't say no. I love it
I
so
think
much.
Muzza's the same there.
I can concur. Yeah, it's you're spot on. You can get whatever you want there. You want culture, you want food, you want
Yeah.
entertainment, whatever it is, you'll
Whatever.
get, and it's not expensive as well.
Yeah.
Especially if you're spending Australian
Yeah,
dollars.
For us, it's not for them.
Oh yeah,
God
for them,
help them.
yeah, inflation.
I really, really feel for
You
them
do.
because they can't afford anything anymore, especially for the youth. Even if they're educated, they're on like $3-4 an hour, and that's
Yeah.
a good salary at a good position. So it's very sad what they've done.
That
the
was
economy.
my like when I came back. These guys asked, what do you think of this of the country? I said, look, it's an amazing country, it's amazing potential, but it's mismanaged. I think if it were
Unfortunately.
managed well, economically, socially, whatever it is, the potential for Turkey is enormous.
I think
enormous.
Turkey's deliberately, I'm not going to say mismanaged, deliberately being put under the thumb because they've got no debt. And they're the only country that doesn't owe the Reserve Bank anything. And then if you don't owe the Reserve Bank anything, you're a threat. So the way to go is to make sure the people are not happy with you and they're going to starve them soon. And this is, again, it's all politics on a big world scale. And yes, I agree, the government, I don't know what they think, but this is just absurd. Because I've been for the last couple of years, and every time I go, I'm shocked at the prices. It's just so expensive. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
The
Like,
minimum
I have
wage is
family
low.
there, and like
Where are they? In Istanbul?
There's some in Istanbul. They're all spread out.
Yeah.
All spread out in all sorts of cities, and eating meat there for them is like
1,300 liras a
rich
kilo of meat.
Yeah. Meat was a big one, man.
meat's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
over there.
ridiculous.
Because
how
I
expensive it
asked,
is.
how much is now? Like, how much is a kilo of meat? And they said 1,300 liras. Chicken's like 700 liras a kilo. Do the maths. If you're on 10,000 liras, the rent prices are just, you can't afford, if not 3-4 people working in the household to pay rent and just have, so they don't have meats much. It's too expensive.
Like most restaurants now don't even put the price of meat, like the meat-based food. It's just like because it changes so much.
Yeah.
It's like Russian roulette at that point. But I'm gonna come back to your skincare, right? Change topics a bit. The reason why, now look, personally, right, I don't really believe in skincare. I don't know why. Like I've never used skincare my whole life, and I've never had issues with my skin. And everyone usually says, "Hey, you have pretty decent skin. Maybe it's genetics. I don't know what it is." But I've never, ever used skincare. And the people that use a lot of skincare have terrible skin. I'm just thinking, all right, something doesn't add up, right?
Well, we're organic skincare. That's number one.
Okay.
Or as organic as we can get it to be. I'm sure there's, we're not certified, but we are organic, and it's clean Australian handmade products. Even my own customers don't advise them to use every single product we have. There's no need. Less is more. I think, and that's my ethics and morals that plays in here. Less is more. It does work. You're cleansing your face. You know how much dirt attracts your face. It's not going to be a magic cure. What you put on your skin, a quarter of it is absorbed by your bloodstream. So people have to be really careful what they just slop on. But a cleanser, a moisturizer, exfoliator does wonders for your skin. It actually gives you, it cleans, and a mask, once or twice a week. That's basically it. You don't need to be, and I tell people, if you're using our hyaluronic acid, don't get our moisturizer. You don't need both. Pick one or the other. It's not about, and I've done this many times when I see a customer's ordered a ton load of product, I just cancel it and say, you don't need all of this. My mum used to just
Really?
think, yeah, I've done it many
Making money,
times.
just-
So my mum's version is, but these are now 4 years in my customers. And if it's on sale, I say, don't hoard it. It's not bread. You don't need that much. Come on. And I'm, make sure they buy what they need. I like I said, I think you build it's more than selling skincare. You're selling a dream. People buy you before they buy the product. They buy your story. I get a lot of children that it's a new trend now, kids using skincare now. If you see them, they're all in Sephora and stuff. So even, I tell them use the mask only. It's like a mum, children, boys and girls. You can get them to sit quiet for 15 minutes. They won't open their mouths while it's drying on their face. Yes, like that, yes. But to be, the people that have 50 types of skincare routine, that's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
You don't need that much.
I'm a bit old school in that regard. I take by your view. Don't use stuff.
But you're men. not
Yeah,
women.
no, not women. But the thing is, if you look back historically, right, I don't think in history people used to cake their faces with a whole heap of different serums and creams and all that kind of stuff. And I think people's skin was okay. I think,
But no, they had mud stuff every, if you look at, with the furrows, and they used to make the stuff organic out of rose petals, out of mud, out of the Dead Sea, the salts in it. They did. Women since God created them, loved to beautify themselves. They always found something. This is nothing new. But like Ali said, it's not something, it's a want, not a need.
Yeah.
Unless you've got acne or some serious problems. But we're in a business of a want.
because these days it's become big business now.
It
Like
is.
people go to a dermatologist, get themselves tested to see, okay, well, what types of skincare will work for them. Then they've got a skin specialist and they've got a million and one different things. It's a really nice commercial money spinner. And especially because, as you said, with women, there's a whole element of beautification, vanity, etc., etc. So there's a strong motivation to spend a lot of money on that. And because now, you've got dual income households, every women are earning and working, and it's like, well, I'm allowed to spend X amount of money every week on just self-care.
But some people really need it. Some people have acne, it's chronic.
Yeah.
And that's a big self-esteem problem for women when you have, or especially teens that have got really severe, like I don't know if you've seen severe acne. They need the dermatologist, they need treatment. Some people, nothing works with them, only unfortunately going on medication. So I understand for the people that, really need, it's a need, not a want. That's a different circumstance. But leave the skincare aside, what's happening to us, the new trend of Botox and fillers and where do you draw the line? It's not just skincare. Everyone's taken it up a notch, and each to their own. No judgment for me, but I think you have to be informed. This is the main problem, that people are not informed of what they're doing to themselves, or when they apply a product, or when they go for a service. And now the marketing is so good, everyone thinks they need to have this procedure done, or they need to get this product done. I don't think a lot of business owners or companies really care about, if they decline spending a couple of $100s a month with them, or if they're getting a service they don't want. And it's actually sad to see young girls as young as 17, 16, 18 even getting the Botox and the fillers, and because your skin's the best at this age. To put Botox in, you don't have wrinkles at 17. Who's informed you that you've got wrinkles? What do you do when you're 50 then?
But they're trying to preempt, they're trying to sort of manage the aging process. That's all it is.
Oh, dear Lord. If they believe.
That's how it's sold. But even when you go to Turkey and stuff like that, it's funny how when on the flight back, you always see everyone's bandaged up. You got women with noses moved and men with hair follicles and the whole lot.
Hey, leave the hair alone.
Yeah,
when a
well,
man bolds,
that's a
look,
sensitive topic for some people.
Fix it.
No, I'm with,
a trigger point.
I'm with hair transplants. I'm with doing things that enhance your beauty. But where do you draw the line?
It's a
That's
slippery
the
slope,
thing.
right? Once you start, you're like, okay, well, that's an enhancement. I got some more hair. Let me fix this. Let me fix that. Blah blah blah. And before you know it, the whole thing's
Yeah, but all that plastic stuff is ugly. Like, with all due respect, like Zac Efron.
yeah.
He was a good-looking rooster. He put all sorts of things in him. He looks like, what the hell is that?
I was at an event in Turkey with the British Chamber of Commerce, and I was looking at these women. They can all look sisters.
Yeah, they're all the same.
No one sort of looks different anymore. The bodies, the looks, the mouth, the nose. I'm like, where is the difference now? Like, beauty is being individual, being your own self, aging gracefully. You can age gracefully, eat properly, look after yourself. Obviously, you're not gonna have a 40-year-old that's lived in comfort all their lives compared to someone that's been in the fields for 40 years. Obviously, that's not realistic. But you can age gracefully without having to pump yourself every single day with Botox and fillers. Like, I don't think, and then to the point that they had, it was just too much. They couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
They can't eat. That's the thing. Like,
They can't
struggle.
close their mouth.
Yeah.
Literally, I saw a lady. She can't close her
So
lips.
they can't do, and some don't know where their mouth is. They hit their lip.
It's
Yeah.
actually dangerous, not done by a professional. It's
Yeah.
people, in those parts of the world, in the Middle East, I've seen it. The botched jobs are really, really detrimental. So
It's crazy. What's your skincare routine?
I cleanse, hyaluronic acid at night, mask once a week. That's it.
That's it.
It's
Quite simple.
And that's if I have time to do them all. To be honest, I don't have time every single day to cleanse. When I can.
Muzzy, you don't do anything, right? Like in the shower, do you?
Look, I don't now. in the past, the marketing has worked on me as well. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's try
Yeah.
this. So you get these, you know, these charcoal kind of,
Oh,
Yeah.
those face washes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've got the same philosophy. I'm like, you wash your body, and then but your face cops a battering throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
You're out and about. You're traveling. A lot of dust, a lot of this, a lot of that. You're like, how can I cleanse this? And then you got pores, and you have to clean out your pores and all that kind of stuff as well. So, but I've had different phases of trying different things, but I haven't really been sold on anything really.
You have to try our exfoliator. You'll be sold. Oh, I wish I got you some of our exfoliator. You love our exfoliator. Twice a week. That's it. And it's like a sand rub, rice rub with petals. It just cleans out your skin. It's instant. You can see it. It just
Yeah.
cleans it out. As I said, less is more. Unless you've got specific problems, you don't need to have 500 products of anything really.
Yeah. The part that worries me sometimes is that you go through this process of trial and errors, right? You're almost like your own little lab rat. Like, let me try this cream with this. Oh, they conflict with one another. Let me try this with that. And you spend a year of your life trying to figure things out, and I'm like, it's just too much work.
How'd you come up with the name? Is it Eve or Evie?
Eve.
Eve.
Well, I thought to myself when I was thinking of the name, how did Eve look when she left the heavens and came to Earth before all this pollution? She would have had crystal clear skin, no pollutions, no rubbish. So that's why I called it Eve skin. In that we want to replicate Eve's natural skin.
So that's how the name came about.
Yeah.
Oh, named after her. I
Right.
see.
It's
I
nice.
see.
I
How
thought
long
so.
has it been operating?
4 years now. Nearly.
4 years.
Yeah. 4
Is it like a unisex product or is it
Yeah, no,
females
unisex.
only?
No, unisex product.
Do we have a discount code for me?
We've got Spring 30 for 30% off now. There you go. Spring
30.
Use that.
Right there
You
go.
can use that.
Me and Muzz are going to do a whole shopping spree after this.
Done.
Hopefully it works. If I wake up with
Oh, we've got
acne or like
back-
all sorts of
money
things.
back guarantee for
All right.
this.
All right, I'll take that. Muzz, do you have any last questions?
No, that's all.
Do you have
Interesting.
anything to share? Any last piece of advice? Do you have any advice for the people out there?
Don't take advice on anything in life from people who have never left their homes, and that's on anything, not only on travel, on anything. You don't ask people about life or work or anything if they haven't done anything before you. I think that's the biggest piece of advice, because they'll always give you they'll give you biased information.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's their perspective, right? And their perspective, if they haven't seen much, is limited. Very, very limited.
Absolutely, especially people that have never travelled and have never worked in anything in their life. Their perspective is only what the news tells them.
Yeah.
On that note, Mariam, we'll leave it over here. Look, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you
It's
for
been a
having
great
me.
chat. We've covered all sorts of things, random things, but it was a great chat. It was
you for having me.
good getting your perspective, and inshallah everything goes well
Thank
with
you.
your skincare and all your endeavors. And give our salams to Yusuf. He was like the main
Yeah.
character
I
of this
will.
podcast
I
for
will.
half of it. Love to meet him one day now.
Inshallah.
Gotta put a face on the name.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But
inshallah.
look, thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on,
for
and
having me.
wish you the
Thank you
best.
so much.
But I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you guys did, give us a like, subscribe, give us a comment. Does mean the world to us. But until then, see you guys in the next one.